Princess Sophia's request sounded passionate, like a ray capable of melting ice. She begged her mother, the Queen of England, to marry her off. However, she, as always, clenched her lips and was silent. Charlotte did not want to be left alone with a crazy spouse, so the daughters were ordered to distract themselves from delusions and return to their former affairs. The happiness of Sofia of Great Britain was beyond anyone's interests. The family was extensive and noisy. King George III and Charlotte of Mecklenburg-Strelitskaya became parents of 15 children, and Sofia was the 12th. One of the king's close friends, historian Christopher Hibbert, is quoted as saying that he had never seen more magnificent children before. George was a good-natured and caring father, while Charlotte was distinguished by a harsh temper. The motto of the English queen was economy. Princess girls had no right to new outfits until they wore out the old ones. The candles that lit their rooms were strictly controlled. The family table was decorated with the most ordinary items, without luxury, while Queen Charlotte came up with the world-famous apple pie. However, money was not spared for education. Children studied foreign languages, literature, history, mathematics, and geography. Outdoor fun was encouraged, and Charlotte approved of children playing in the garden. There were many internal norms. When the King Father appeared, it was necessary to stand up silently. Communication with George was allowed only on his initiative. Until the age of 15, children were forbidden to participate in large royal events, urging them to behave quietly and modestly. Unsurprisingly, the historian Hibbert described Sofia as delightful but moody. She always hid her feelings. Sofia loved her father immensely. George III thought early about the future of his daughters and intended to go on a trip to the German principalities to find worthy suitors. However, in 1788, he suffered an attack of insanity, and plans for weddings were postponed. Queen Charlotte took full care of her sick husband, and George himself admitted, "I really like the company of my daughters, and I don't want to share it with anyone." In order for young girls not to flirt, communication with men was strictly limited. They could only talk to the servants. Even leaving the palace was not recommended, and it all began to resemble a golden cage, which alerted Sofia. She was transformed into an attractive girl and did not want to spend her whole life at the side of her sick father. In 1797, Sofia's older sister married the King of Württemberg, a widower with children. The English monarch reluctantly agreed to this union, and other possible weddings were not considered. The Prince of Wales, the future heir to the crown, unsuccessfully tried to influence his parents. Then Sofia herself turned to Queen Charlotte. "Marry me off." However, the answer remained unchanged. "You know, dear daughter, how sick your father is." Sofia aspired to freedom, just like her sisters, who dreamed of starting their own families and moving far away from England. But what could they do? Sofia developed a particularly close relationship with her brother Ernst August, Duke of Cumberland. Their shared time together caused evil tongues to talk about an inappropriate relationship between the princess and the duke. However, it was not a brother, but a groom whom Sofia loved. Thomas Garth, despite his 33 years older than the girl, became her first real passion. The old devil, Sister Maria scoffed, condemning the novel, and even with a big purple mole on his face. But the courtier Karl Greville treated her choice with respect. The princesses were ready to fall into the hands of the first person they met, whom fate would throw them. After all, they were so lonely. However, what happened next remains a matter of debate among historians. Many of them believe that in 1800 Sofia of Great Britain gave birth to a son by Thomas Garth, but under pressure from the family, refused the child. According to 3 Georgian researchers, Gillian Gill, Anthony Kemp, and Lucy Worsley, this is exactly what happened. Another version claims that the Duke of Cumberland became the father of the child, and for this reason the child was hidden from prying eyes. According to this version, just in case, Sofia was secretly married to Garth. There is no absolute proof of this version. However, the late portraits of Princess Sofia clearly show an engagement ring. Maybe she really married her beloved equerry. The official Buckingham Palace, of course, did not make such statements. Only in 1818, after the death of Queen Charlotte, the princesses of the English royal house received the right to choose their own destiny. But the time was lost. the intractability of her parents deprived Sophia of the opportunity to build a happy family life. Even if she was married to Garth, this union remained in the shadows. Sophia settled in Kensington Palace, next to the Duchess of Kent and her daughter Victoria. She watched as Victoria eventually became the English queen. There was a warm relationship between them, and Sophia also communicated with Prince Albert, the queen's husband. The princess died in 1848. And as for Thomas Garth, he became a general and raised his son Tommy from 1800. This boy's mother remained unknown, or, on the contrary, too famous to call her name out loud. In 1829, Thomas Garth died, and his heir, like his father, continued his military career. However, in the will of Thomas Garth, this young man was called beloved nephew.